Okay, hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. In today's video, we have an insane myth that a whole ton of you guys have been requesting, as well as many more myths that we will be showcasing in today's video. So, just like always, if you do have a myth you would like me to test in the next or future episodes of the Fortnite Mythbusters, make sure to go down in the comments and drop a comment of that myth for a pretty good chance to be featured. As well, guys, we are on the road to 1 million subscribers. We're really close to 900,000. So if you do enjoy my content and you're a part of that 80% of my viewers who are not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications to help support the grind and to never miss another Fortnite Mythbusters episode. As well, if you could smash 27,955 likes on today's video, that would be insane. But without further ado, let's get right on in to today's episode. Kicking things off, jumping straight into the first myth. The first myth is, what happens when someone shoots off your disguise while you're opening a faction locked chest? Now, what this comment actually means by faction locked is ghost or shadow chests, how they have those chests where you kind of have to scan yourself in order for it to open. When I tried this myth out in game, I tried it at both the ghost agency as well as the shadow location, the grotto, and whenever I was scanning myself to open up the chest, I had my friend shoot me halfway through, and it immediately opened up the chest, which is something I definitely did not know. The interesting thing is whenever you would get shot, your disguise would immediately go away and it would say ghost henchmen only or shadow henchmen only, which doesn't really make sense. You would think the chest would get locked immediately. It's interesting to note that the chest opens up immediately because there's other tactics that you could use to open up the chest immediately by placing down a wall or editing a wall or just some sort of build while you're scanning yourself, which is a quick way to open it. So this is I guess good to know. You could get shot and you could get the loot immediately and then go straight into the fight. Going into the next myth, the next myth is, what happens when a decoy goes on top of a proximity mine or triggers a proximity mine? So a while back, when the proximity mines were actually released into the game, I tested this exact same myth out, but a whole ton of you guys seem to actually not know the answer. Maybe you guys forgot or whatever, so I decided to try it out once again. Maybe something changed, or you never know. When I tried this myth out, I first tried it by throwing down a proximity mine on the ground, and then I threw down a decoy grenade. That way the proximity mine as well as the decoy is on my team, and if you throw the decoy close enough to the proximity, it'll actually trigger it and make it explode. But if you do throw a decoy who's on your team and they just walk over the proximity, it seems to not even notice it one bit. What's interesting though is, if you throw down a proximity mine, then an enemy throws down a decoy and the decoy comes in range of the proximity, it'll actually trigger it and it will actually explode as well. Something that is pretty cool that Fortnite kind of kept in mind. Jumping straight into the next myth. The next myth is, what happens when you throw a junk rift into a vault? So obviously the junk rift isn't actually in the real game. It has been vaulted for a pretty long time, so I had to improvise somehow, and that is by using the Shark Island preset in creative mode. I basically went in here, I went to the vault. It's the old shark preset vault, and I replicated it. You can't build in the first half of the vault, but the back one by one you are able to build. You can't destroy the walls. It's literally the exact same thing as a vault. If you want more info on how this actually works, it's in one of my previous episodes. Anyways, while I was in a vault, I threw down a junk rift, and there's multiple different things that could come out of a junk rift. It could be an anchor, it could be a dinosaur, a police car, a porta potty. I think there's a couple others as well, but they all kind of glitch the roof, but they don't actually break the roof. Obviously I could only test this at the shark vault, which I guess it's a thinner amount of the terrain, so it actually allows it to hit the vault directly. But at places like the grotto, where it's a massive mountain, if you would throw a junk rift, it'll most likely just hit the mountain up above and not actually glitch through the vault. Going straight into the next myth. The next myth is, if you do the Tootsie Slide emote on the right side of a wall, when it slides to the left, will you clip through the wall? Now this is actually a pretty interesting myth, and one that might actually help you in game. I don't know, we tried some pretty interesting things with this actual myth, and you might want to take note of this. When my friend did the Tootsie Slide emote literally right next to a wall, it surprisingly kind of phased him through it. Now obviously his player, when he was in the wall, he was not able to move it. He was trying to move out, so you had to wait for the emote to kind of move around. But while you were glitching through the wall, you could actually take damage if someone does shoot you. From all of our tests though, you could only get body shots. You can't actually get a headshot, and my friend try to pick up a gun and maybe somehow shoot me through the wall, maybe like phase himself all the way across. But no, you can't phase through walls like this, you know, similar to how you can phase in through a wall with, you know, like a stair and jumping into it. In this case, that's not really possible. But overall, pretty interesting. And if you do have this emote, I would never ever do it right on the outside of someone's box or on the outside of your box. Went into the next myth. The next myth is, if Midas touches a grenade and drops it in a pile of grenades that are not gold, will it turn all of the other nades gold? Now, I thought this was actually pretty interesting because Midas, whenever you throw a grenade or pick up a grenade, it'll turn fully gold as long as you have Midas on, and the other nades will not turn gold. So I basically dropped a gold grenade. I then had my friend who had not Midas on drop a regular pile of grenades, and surprisingly, they actually, you know, came together into the same pile, and it still showcased them as gold. I then had my friend pick up that pile of gold grenades, you know, the mixed pile where some are gold, some are not, and he threw the nades, but they did not seem to actually have any skin on them. They weren't gold, they were just the regular straight up grenades. But whenever I, as Midas, throws grenades, they're completely gold. It would be cool to see, you know, both of the types of grenades combined, and you throw some that are gold and some are not. Going into the next myth is, do traversal emotes register as footsteps when you have the visualized sound effects enabled? Now, if you don't know what the visual sound effects thing is in game, it's basically you get a notification on screen wherever footsteps are, as well as vehicles and stuff. It'll kind of show it in a circle wherever the people are. It's honestly a really cool feature, and you know, a whole ton of people actually do use it. We tried this out with as many traversal emotes as we possibly can, and every single one, no matter what type of emote it was, it would show, you know, the footsteps on screen. And I think that's because the emotes themselves, they make noise. You know, some of them play music, some of them, you know, you just hear footsteps immediately. But the interesting thing to know is whenever you're crouching next to someone who has the visualized sound effects on, it won't show any of the footsteps at all, which that doesn't really make any sense. Maybe it should show footsteps, but maybe a little bit, you know, less bold, like the opacity is a little bit down. Overall, something pretty good to know if you do have the visualized sound effects, you know, setting enabled in your game. Jumping into the next myth is, does the Midas Golden Touch have an effect on the Infinity Blade? On the last episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters, surprisingly, this myth got over 700 likes, which that's a really high amount of likes for a specific myth. Anyways, in game, I had the Midas skin selected, which if you don't know already, whenever you pick up a weapon, it'll automatically make whatever you're holding fully gold, as well as vehicles. But the interesting thing about the Infinity Blade is that, say you have a specific wrap on, just any other wrap in the game, and you pick up the Infinity Blade, the wrap will not shift over to the blade. In this case though, with Midas, it surprisingly actually made the Infinity Blade fully gold, and this thing is a beauty in game. It looks really cool, and I'm not saying I want the Infinity Blade to come back, but if it does, I might start using Midas. Going into the next myth, and probably one of my most highly requested myths. This myth has been getting thousands of likes, thousands of comments, so I had to try it. This myth is, what happens when you boogie bomb a henchman or even a boss? So the thing with this myth is that you actually cannot get boogie bombs in a real game to actually throw at a henchman, therefore making this one basically impossible. With all of the recent leaks of Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 3, with you know, henchmen possibly not going to be in the game, the whole map being flooded, the agency being blown up, I'm scared that henchmen won't be in the game. I also did a poll, and a whole ton of people said henchmen most likely won't be in the game. So, you know, I wanted to try this myth out for you guys, and here it is. Over the Fortnite Mythbuster episodes, we've learned a whole ton about the henchmen, and they are basically literally the exact same as a real player, and let me explain why. If you're in an arena game and a henchman knocks you down and full kills you, they will actually gain 50 HP off a siphon like how you would in a regular arena game. When a henchman gets knocked down and they do get revived, they are at 30 HP, which is the exact same amount of health that we are as a regular player. When we get knocked and we get revived, we are, you know, at 30 HP as well. Henchmen also take fall damage just like a regular player as well. They are able to go to the other sides of the map. You just kind of have to pull them with a fishing rod. Henchmen also do gain health from Slurpy Swamp, as well as the Slurp trucks, which are, you know, located around the map. The point I'm trying to get at is that a henchman is it's literally the exact same thing as a regular player. They're just, you know, computer controlled. Zombies are actually very similar to the henchmen as well as regular players. The only thing with them is that they are not able to get knocked and revived. They just full kill immediately. But other than that, they act the exact exact same way as a henchman as well as a regular player. I threw a boogie bomb at them and they were able to dance. The boogie bomb effect affected them. They still had the disco ball above their head. You know, they were dancing, they were doing the sound effects, literally the exact same thing as if you know, a regular player was affected by a boogie bomb. With all of this info, we could safely conclude that henchmen, if they were to ever get thrown at by a boogie bomb, they will do the dance. They're the exact same thing as a regular player. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, turn on those post notifications to never miss another Fortnite Mythbusters episode, and I will see you guys next time.